So warm welcome to all the participants in today's webinar. This is the 6th in our series, in our talk series. And a special welcome to Dr. Asif Iqbal, President of the Indian Economic Trade Organization, Mr. Harshvardhan Umre, IRS and Commissioner of GST, Dr. Anup Dayanand, IRS and Head of Container Corporation of India in South India. So I can see some of your names here, so welcome to you all as well. Today's program goes under the head of Connect to the Core. At Rtambhara, we place great emphasis on one's journey of self-discovery and personal transformation. It's in alignment with the order of the universe. Our programs are based on this very premise of personal transformation, which enables us to live a life of meaning, purpose, and holistic well-being. Our webinars happen every week on Fridays, and on Tuesdays, we do them twice a month. So before we begin, here are a few protocols. You will all be muted through the talk. Ishwaranji has requested that you keep your videos on. He'd like to see you. And what you can do is if you have questions for Ishwaranji, you can post them on the chat icon that you see at the bottom of your screen. Just click on that and you can type in your question, and then Sri Ishwaranji will take them one by one. And if you'd rather ask your question, then click on raise hand in the participants icon. You will see a raise hand there. Click on that and a hand will come up against your name. And Ishwaranji can also see that. But please be patient. Do not interrupt the flow of the talk by unmuting yourself before you are asked to speak, because there's too much ambient noise and we are recording this session. So today we have for you Sri Ishwaranji, who will be talking on the subject, Kindle, the Light of Wisdom. A short introduction on Sri Ishwaranji. He's a senior disciple and protege of the internationally eminent philosopher Swami Parthasarathi. He's been studying, researching, and propagating Vedanta for over 25 years under Swamiji's guidance. Here's a short write-up on what he's going to be speaking on today. He has sent us, and I'll read out to you. Wisdom comes from the knowledge of truth, reality, that thou art. The process begins with awareness of ignorance, followed by a systematic, concerted effort. The presentation will provide the necessary material. Listen and reflect well to digest the knowledge. Convert it into wisdom. May the light of wisdom guide you towards enlightenment. So over to you, Ishwaranji. Prem, he is muted.
Yeah,
this is not good here. Call a speaker and mute him,
All right.
Now this talk we have is this Kindle, the Light of Wisdom. Now here we try to understand what is the necessity of wisdom. First point. Second one, we'll try and see the difference between knowledge and wisdom. What is the difference? Is there any difference? If it is, what is it? Then we go to the process of how do you develop wisdom. So all that we would be dealing with is only 3 fundamental questions with reference to wisdom. Why wisdom? What is a necessity? Why should I develop my wisdom? Number 1. Number 2, what is the difference? Number 3, how do I go about it? What is the plan of action? Now here first, let's start the analysis in terms of why do you need wisdom? Now I want to spend much time on that, but we'll just have a glimpse of an idea. Is the essential problem of our life is this. I decide something, I don't do that. This is my basic problem of life. Everyone. None of us are here to say that I don't know certain things about life. There are so many things that you know already. I'm not talking about the things that you don't know, right? I don't know what is this, what is that, what is the solution for coronavirus. None of us know. Okay, so don't worry about that part. Now, what you know, what you decide. You decide to wake up early in the morning and keep the alarm in the night. That alarm rings in the morning. What do? Do you put it off and get up, or you put it off into snooze mode, continue your sleep? This is the quick question. Everybody knows. Theoretically, all of us have the knowledge of all the great values. There's no necessity for somebody should be coming and teaching any one of us as on date. The problem is not as much as my ignorance. The problem is my inability to follow through. Now, why I am not able to live my knowledge? I may not be able to live your knowledge. That is a different thing. But I should be able to execute my decisions. I should be able to follow through my knowledge. There has to be an alignment of what I am thinking, what I am saying, what I am doing, and what I report as what I did. All that should be in alignment. Is there alignment in our life? Why there is no alignment? That is where wisdom comes into picture. Otherwise, there is no necessity for us to think in terms of wisdom and all that. One. Now, if I have to live an integrated life, we have to have alignment. When I say integrated life, I mean all this put together. Like we say, including what, sir? Action and peace. Now, the moment you start activity, stress comes into picture. And the moment you stay away from activity, there is no stress. That is why they are saying in the last about two months, there is not much of heart attack to people. The number of people getting heart attack has considerably reduced. Why? Because they say stress levels are reduced. Why? Because no action. We are not doing anything. Since we are not doing anything, automatically stress level comes down. The moment we pick up our activity, what is going to happen, sir? Stress levels are going to increase. Now, why this? Why is it that I should be able to function dynamic at the same time, retain my peace, which is an ideal life, which is a perfect way of living life? We have to inquire that and figure out. This is where wisdom comes into picture. Any amount of knowledge that you have will not bring about this union. This union will not happen. This oneness cannot be achieved. Now, what is the difference between knowledge and wisdom, sir? Essentially, knowledge means what you know. Wisdom is, have you digested what you know? One is, you eat food. Unless you eat healthy food, nutritious food, you will not be healthy. Correct. At the same time, what is more important than having nutritious food is your stomach should have the capacity to digest it. Digest the food and absorb the food content, the food value. The system should absorb the food value. Only then you get health. Suppose if you just take the food inside and you are not having the digestive power, all that happens is it just passes through. It's just a question of time. Another 4 hours, it will come out. So there is an entry point and there is an exit point, full stop. Same way, what happens to most of us is we take in that knowledge, but then that knowledge doesn't go through a particular process of digestion. How long does it take for you to eat food? 10 minutes? You don't eat more than 10 minutes, 15 minutes, unless you are talking, or else you should be watching TV. If you are watching TV, then you eat for half an hour. Otherwise, how long actually you eat, sir? It's a matter of 10 minutes job. But how long it takes for you to digest the food? Digestion takes 4 hours. And of course, depends on what the value and all those things. Average is about 4 hours it takes. Remember the proportion. If you don't remember the proportion, then there is a problem. Along with that, one more factor also you got to consider. How long does it take to cook? Cooking also will take a couple of hours. Same way, eating will not take so much of time. Digestion will take more time. So cooking is preparation. Preparation will take time. And actual eating doesn't take much time. But digestion again will take sufficient time. Remember this in the background. This process needs to be applied. Now, what is knowledge? What is wisdom? See, there are very many angles to it. Now, we can view the whole thing from many aspects. Now, essentially, we say knowledge means information that I gather from external. Wisdom is what I kindle from myself, what I trigger from within, what comes out of me. That is called wisdom. What gets into me is information, knowledge. Now, in this context, you take knowledge to mean information. Now, with information, what you will do, you have a lot of information, means you can deliver a very good lecture. Everybody will appreciate. You can become a fantastic speaker, but you can't live it. Living demands wisdom. So with knowledge, what you do, sir? You talk. With wisdom, what you do, sir? You live. With knowledge, what happens? With knowledge, you start searching for solution. You start searching for answer with knowledge. More and more knowledge you get, more and more search will come into picture in your life. With wisdom, you sublimate the question. You don't go in search of answer. You dissolve the question. The more you learn to dissolve the question, you have wisdom. More and more knowledge you gain, what happens, sir? Every knowledge that you gain will trigger new set of questions in you. If you have not known certain things, the questions will not come. You see a glass of water in front of me, it's there. Now immediately I ask, what is this made up of? They say this is a metal. What metal is this? Who created this? Who designed it? From where it got done? And how that got reached into my house? Who brought that? All the questions will come into picture. And every question I try to answer will trigger new set of questions. New set of questions. New set of questions. Thus, it goes on and on and on. Knowledge proceeds in one direction. Wisdom moves in the opposite direction. You get a question, you don't start searching the answer. You have a question in wisdom, you move towards the question again. Here, you don't find answer. You try to sizzle the question. You question the question. You question that question. Question that question. Finally, you reach where, sir? You reach the questioner. In knowledge, you never go in that direction. In wisdom, you go back, and there you complete that with inquiry into the questioner. This is knowledge. Wisdom. In knowledge, you will have answers. In wisdom, you ask right questions. And I can go on giving various differences. Knowledge is more of masculine in nature. Wisdom is more of feminine in nature. Knowledge is more to do with, I have a problem, I have to find a solution to the problem. I have this misery, I have this suffering, I have this issue. Now what should I do? Start towards the solution towards it. Now what does wisdom do, sir? It says, don't worry about it, man. Live with that insecurity. Not that you recognize that insecurity and not searching, running towards security. You learn to live with that insecurity. With that, you should be able to live. That is what wisdom is all about. Now, if I have to gain that wisdom, where should I begin? This is where definition of wisdom becomes very important. Definition of knowledge becomes very important. What is the difference between when you say, I don't know, ignorance, and I know? Whenever you have used that word, I don't know something, on the other side, you say, yes, I know. Yeah, this I know. This I don't know. This I know. I know, I don't know. I know, I don't know. I know, I don't know. All our lifetime, we are juggling between these two factors. Known, unknown. Known, unknown. Known, unknown. And our belief is, I am gaining knowledge means I am converting my I don't know to I know. I don't know to I know. I don't know Chinese language. After that, what do? I learn. Now what is it, sir? I know the language. So what I'm doing? My knowledge horizon is increasing. So if you were to put it in circles, every one of us have got our own circle of knowledge and our own circle of ignorance. And always it looks what? Which circle is bigger? This is where problem comes. Most of us believe my knowledge of my ignorance circle is bigger than the knowledge circle. For whom that is? When that is? Lesser the knowledge, less you recognize your ignorance. More the knowledge, more you will recognize your ignorance. Now this is where it becomes a catch-22 now. You are stuck now. Now 35-40 minutes is too less for me. Okay. For me to explain a concept. You got to rush, come very fast with me. So follow very carefully. Okay. I don't know, I say. Whenever I say I don't know something, or whenever I say I know something, what I'm meaning is, whenever I suspect my understanding in a particular subject, I'll say I don't know. Wherever I am not suspecting my understanding, I say I know, isn't it? Correct? Think carefully. I repeat. Whenever we say I don't know, that means I suspect my understanding. I don't think, I have understood what you are, which means you are suspecting what you have heard. It's not that you have not heard what I'm speaking. All of you can hear what I'm speaking. Right? But still you will say what? This is not. Suppose if you have arrived at some conclusion, this is what Ishwaran is saying. There you will say what? I have understood. I know that. That I know. Which means what? I don't suspect my understanding. Means I say I know. Wherever I start suspecting my understanding, I say I don't know. Who gets that suspicion? So now knowledge and ignorance falls into the category of who suspects and who doesn't suspect. The tragedy is, the paradox is, what is so interesting about life is, the one who is a real expert in a particular field who knows a lot start suspecting more. That is where people like Einstein, who says, what is my knowledge compared to my ignorance? Contrast you can easily understand. If you don't, after the lockdown opens up, I recommend you to go to Chennai. Okay, go by train. Don't go by airport. No, don't know. Go by train. Go to that central railway station, get down, catch hold of any fellow in Tamil Nadu. In Chennai, you can catch hold of anyone. Ask him how to go to a place. He will give you direction. Ask him, are you sure? Typical reply, I am telling you, no. I am invariably that fellow doesn't know. He is giving a wrong direction. But he is so confident. Whereas you listen to the real experts in the fields. You speak to lawyers who are real experts in that field. They say, hey, we don't understand what is it. There's no clarity we have on this, he says. Whereas you speak to the scientist, he says that. What is interesting is the 6th standard physics teacher is so confident about everything in science. Whereas the double doctorate in science, he says, we don't understand what is going on. It's all what? Arbitration, he says. Now we get confused. Who is superior now? Who now? So do you have to go on suspecting? Imagine you go on suspecting everything in life. Isn't it over a period of time you will become cynical, pessimistic? If you keep on saying, I don't know, for anything and everything, what will happen to you over a period of time? You will become pessimistic and you will become cynical. You can't do that also in life. At the same time, we can't take the stand saying, I know also. Now you can't say, I know, you can't say, I don't know. You cannot be confident about your ignorance. You cannot be confident about your knowledge. Then how do you resolve it, sir? The resolution is provided by the scriptures through wisdom. It says, gain that wisdom, man. There what happens? Philosophy introduces a third element. Now science deals with only these two factors. Circle of known and the circle of unknown. Knowledge, I am progressing my knowledge means I am intruding and I am converting the area of ignorance into knowledge. Unknown is becoming known. 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 Science believes one day all that unknown will become known to humanity. This is the fundamental premise of science, without which they can't progress. And the problem there is this. More you convert, what is happening, sir? Your suspicion of ignorance is increasing. Instead of confidence of knowledge coming, suspicion of ignorance is increasing to a person who is converting that. How do you resolve that? This is where philosophers came into picture. This is where the sages, the rishis, the masters brought in, hey, there is a third element in life that is cannot be categorized into this bracket of known, nor can you put it in the category of unknown. Then what is it, sir? They said it is unknowable. What is this? As it is, we are confused with two. Now, instead of solving the two, this fellow introduces a third element and confuses more actually. It says, no. You cannot know it. You cannot convert because you cannot put these two things in that category of known or unknown. Then what can be done, sir? This cannot be known, but you can become. And they give a beautiful example in the scriptures. They say, the dreamer, when you sleep, you dream. And in the dream, there is you take a position of a dreamer in the dream. Can the dreamer know the waker? Not possible. Nor the dreamer can say, I don't know the waker, because whatever he's experiencing in the dream is happening where, sir? In the waker's mind only. The whole dream is where? The entire dream that I had yesterday night is where? In my mind only. Isn't it? So you can't say it is outside, it is not known, nor can you say it is, but the dreamer can never have a meeting with the waker. That is also not possible. Nowhere the waker will never go into the dream again, not possible. But then how the dreamer will get the knowledge of the waker? That's what the Upanishads they say. The knower of waker will become the waker. Once you become that waker, you get the knowledge of the waker. The Upanishads say, Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahmavit means the knower of Brahman, truth. What happens to him, sir? He becomes it. Knower of mathematics doesn't become mathematics. You gain the knowledge of coronavirus doesn't mean you have become coronavirus. Isn't it? That is not possible. Whereas in this field, what is it, sir? The knower becomes it. There is an integration happening between the object of knowledge and the knower. In that integration, everything else gets integrated. Everything is resolved. As long as you are maintaining this differentiation between the knower and knowledge, distinction where to exist, it is impossible for you to resolve it. This resolution can happen only in this field. So, any amount of scientific development you have, any amount of mathematical knowledge you have, any amount of worldly knowledge that you gain, you can never create that integration. I'll give two cases you think for yourself. Any amount of knowledge of psychology doesn't insulate the psychologist from getting depression. Even the topmost psychologist is susceptible for depression, stress. Correct? But whenever we have problems of depression, where do we go? We go to a psychologist. Keep this man. Then you keep another side. You will never see Buddha coming and telling you, yesterday night I am so stressed I could not sleep. Can you give me some sleeping pill for me to sleep? Now he never has that problem. You put him in any position, he is able to maintain that. What is the difference between this psychologist and Buddha? See, in terms of knowledge, if you take, whatever psychologist speaking, almost it's the same thing Buddha also will be talking. Or whatever Buddha is talking is what psychologists also will say. Right? Only language is different, words are different, but the content is the same thing. But then, whatever the knowledge that with which he is able to help the clients doesn't help the psychologist. There are a lot of people who counsel divorce or divorced. I counsel people who come to me for marriage, and I mend their marriage and I make their marriage better. And I come home inside, what is happening, sir? Why there's a difference? Because the field of inquiry can never be in this side. It has to be coming from the knowledge of a different subject, a different area. The probing into that area, inquiring into that field is where scriptures come to help us. Now in this, the fundamental problem we have is, all of us have that fundamental belief that I know how to live my life. All of us have this idea. I am so clear about what I am. You never have the doubt. Am I living life the way life should be lived? What is the proof? You may ask me, Ishwaran, you don't know any one of us. How do you know? You say what? Whenever your friend has a problem, you give advice to him. No. On what basis you give advice? See, unless you believe, you know, will you give advice? You never give advice to a person whether he is how he should be filing his returns. You don't do that. Why? You don't tell him in which stock he has to be investing unless you are a stockbroker, unless you have been investing in stocks, unless you know about stocks. Isn't it? In any area, I need to have that belief. I know. All of us advise others how they should live life. That means what? I believe I know how to live life. When you don't even know what you are and who you are, where is a possibility for you to know how to live your life? This is where the awareness that I don't know comes into picture. And Josh Billings, one of my favorite statement, hair stands on end every time I say that. Josh Billings, he says, the trouble with most folks is not so much so their ignorance as their knowing so many things which end so. Trouble with people is not their ignorance. They believe they know. First requirement is you need to understand, I don't know. Suspect. That suspicion should be there. Am I sure? Can I be sure about what I am? What I am doing? What I am thinking? What I am feeling? Are you sure about it? The problem is all of us are so sure about it. I'm so sure. You see, that suspicion. Then comes the process. What is the process, sir? I'll give you the example. Remember the example at least, if not the idea. Remember the example. The process of gaining wisdom is exactly like the process of curd making. How do you prepare curd? Right. Step 1. You boil the milk and immediately you don't start. You allow the milk to cool down. The milk should come to a lukewarm temperature. Strictly speaking, there is no necessity for you to boil milk. You know that. If you don't know, at least know that. So you can tell someone, if they ask you, what did you learn in that light of wisdom? There is no need to boil the milk to make curd. No need, actually. You just have to warm the milk. That's enough. Warm the milk. Lukewarm temperature. The milk should be in that lukewarm temperature. Number 1. 2 is you add a little curd to that. If you have 1 liter of milk, you add 2 spoons of curd to it and then stir it well. Leave it overnight. Next day morning, you see that fluid milk had transformed into solid curd. I understood solid curd only when I went to Punjab, Gurdaspur. Till then, I never knew what is this concept of solid milk. They had in that pot here showing me milk, curd. Turn upside down, it is not falling. It is so thick. Now today, your personality is what, sir? So fluid. Your mind is so fluid. Means right now the mind is running in all sorts of direction. You give a direction to the mind, it says, no, I will not run. All of you know this popular story. Think of monkey. Don't think of monkey. What happened? The mind only thinks of monkey. Now you are saying don't, The mind says what? Who the hell are you to tell me? I will think. Which means what? It is running in by itself. That running mind getting solidified, getting solidarity to itself is called wisdom. That is called integrated personality, a solid being. How that happens, sir? The transformation to your personality. Step 1, you should be in a lukewarm condition. Lukewarm condition means you should have some experiences of life. You cannot be hot milk, not possible. Means you can't be totally involved in the world. Cold milk is what? No experience of life itself. That sort of a personality is not suited for wisdom. First requirement is, are you ready? Is the milk ready for curd? That's the basic question. When it happens like this, you go through that step. Step 1, which you don't have to do anything. Nature does that. Through the knocks and shocks of life, through the experiences that life prepares your mind to a lukewarm state. You don't have to put in any special effort for that. Your effort comes only next step. Step 2 is you take a little curd and add. Little curd is already been created. Little curd in the sense what? Little curd is what is already been given by these people. What is this? The time-tested knowledge. The time-tested knowledge from the masters has to be taken a little. What? Measured dose. A measured daily dose has to be given. So, wisdom of the masters you take, add little curd. It is their wisdom you are taking in. This is called receiving knowledge. How much? This is where many make a mistake. 99% don't receive. Very minimal percentage receive, but go on receiving. It is like for 1 liter of milk, you are adding 2 liters of curd. How that curd will get formed? This is not the way to do. So you have to take a little, add. Step 1. Step 2, very important step, is you add that curd and then stir it well. That stirring has to happen. It has to get mixed with milk. That is what is known as reflection. The first step is known as Shravanam in Sanskrit, in Vedanta. Means listening or reading. You can take anything. You receive information. Little information you receive and then reflect over it. Think about it. Question it. Analyze it. Don't take it for granted. Probe into it. Investigate on your own. Thus, it gets mixed well within your personality. You keep shaking that, challenge it, critically analyze it. Through that analysis of every information that you receive, it gets mixed with the milk. After that, what you have to do? Leave it. Leave it overnight. Means, even after the reflection, the knowledge to get converted into wisdom, to seep in, it takes time. The curing period, what we call as. There is a period between mixing and forming. Relax. Don't keep on asking, what had happened to me? Have I developed wisdom? Have I developed wisdom and all that? Relax. Till that point, no relaxation. Remember that. Step 1. Nature will prepare you through knocks and shocks of life, through experiences of life. Then receive little knowledge of the scriptures. Little knowledge in the sense, what I mean is the scriptural knowledge. Then comes the reflection part. Think about it. analyze it, investigate it, probe into it, and then relax. Through these 3 steps, your personality will attain the transformation. You will gain wisdom. With wisdom, you live life. You can achieve anything after that. After that, life is very different. After that wisdom, life is very different. It's like that movie, we say £1,000,000 Note. Old movie, that is Gregory Peck. It's movie. I think it is 60s or something. Amazing movie. And the fellow gets just that £1,000,000 note. He gets everything done without encashing it. Throughout the movie, he never encashes that. Just keeping that £1,000,000 note with him, he achieves everything. That is called wisdom. That's the power of wisdom. Remember, you don't have to encash it. All other knowledges you have to encash. Knowledge needs to be encashed. Wisdom needs to be possessed. That's enough. Possessing will give you power. Other knowledges only when you work on it. That is why in Vedanta we say there is no such thing called a practice. In philosophy, there's no practice here. All that you have to do is what? Only 2 things: study, reflect. Through study and reflection, transformation comes. The mark of transformation is the solidarity of your personality. Thank you.